Hey guys, so today Max and I interviewed defenseman Julian Melchiori, who played on the Manitoba Moose of the AHL, but who is now signed to a contract to play in the KHL in Russia. Hope you guys enjoy the video.
Okay, so my first question is, how was your experience playing for the Toronto Marlboros AAA team?
It was great. I was there for 7 years total, and it was awesome. We always had very good teams, like they obviously usually do, but it was great. We were always were first or second place, and I have a lot of friends that I met back then that I still hang out with today and still talk with today. But I really enjoyed playing for them. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
What was it like wearing an A on your jersey for the Barry Colts?
I never played for Barry. I played for Kitchener. But I did
Oh,
wear it. That's all right. Um,
I up wrong. Oops.
I'll answer it for Kitchener. It was good. It was awesome. Like same thing. It was a great organization and um, a lot of history there. So it was pretty good pretty special to do that.
Yes.
Yeah. And were you drafted into the OHL or did you just get invited into the Kitchener training camp?
So I was originally drafted to the OHL by Oshawa in the 14th round. I was a little bit of a later pick. And then I actually ended up playing for the Newmarket Hurricanes in Tier 2 Junior A. I didn't make the team right away. And I actually ended up, um, I wanted to go to NCAA route. So I committed to a school named UMass Lowell. And I was committed to UMass for 2.5 years. And essentially what happened was um, I was committed. I really wanted to go to school and play NCAA hockey, and I thought maybe the OHL wasn't for me, so I did that, and then I ended up getting drafted into the NHL out of Tier 2 Junior A, which doesn't happen very often. And essentially, at the team at the time that drafted me, Atlanta, kind of wanted me to go to the OHL and play more games, and my rights were traded in the OHL from Oshawa to Kitchener, so I ended up signing with Kitchener, and then in my overage year, I got traded back to Oshawa. It was just kind of a coincidence, but I ended up playing for both teams anyways.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, it's really cool.
How old were you when you first started playing hockey, and were your parents supportive of you playing hockey, or were they into you kind of like playing a different sport?
I was young. I think I was probably 5 when I first started skating, and 6 when I was probably playing house league. Yeah, my family put me in hockey. I come from a pretty extensive hockey background. My mom had two brothers that played in the NHL, and just a big hockey family, and they kind of pushed me in it. I have a lot of cousins that played hockey, so I guess it was kind of say it was an easy decision for me, and my family really supported me.
Nice. I
Yeah.
guess like you already answered the question of how I was playing for the Kitchener Rangers and the Oshawa Generals, but who are some of the people who got you to that level?
That's a good question. Well, obviously my parents who, at that time they were obviously very supportive and spent money on skates and training and mostly time spending bringing me to practices and games and workouts and such. So definitely my parents, but I had a really good trainer named Randy Smith who I worked with for probably 12 years total, doing off ice stuff. And I think I was first 12 years old when I first went to see Randy, and it was just at first it was just body weight squats and lunges and stuff like that, and it was and gradually growing into weights and other stuff like that. But I'd say Randy Smith was probably a person that I was pretty lucky to have in my life from a young age.
Yeah.
Nice.
At what point did you decide you wanted to be a defenseman?
Um, I was actually a forward my first couple years, like just playing house league. I don't think I ever decided to be a defenseman. I think I was a little bit of a bigger kid when I was younger. So when I think I first translated into like AAA, they put me on defense, and I liked it, and I kind of just stuck, and I never really looked back. So I guess it was a combination of someone putting me there and then just doing well and having fun with it.
Yeah, Max and I can't really switch positions. We both play goalie.
Oh yeah, nice, nice. Goalies, eh? Cool.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Who were some of the teams that you talked to during the 2010 NHL Draft?
Um, I talked to quite a few teams actually. I was I want to say because I did go to the NHL Combine, and I probably talked to about total about I think it was 18 teams that year. Um, Obviously not all of them, but some of the interactions were very brief. Just 5-minute phone call or 2-minute phone call or whatever it was. Some other teams that some other teams were a lot more in depth. I remember Vancouver was a team that was pretty in depth, and they made me do a lot of personality quizzes and a bunch of in-person meetings and stuff. And it was just funny. I ended up getting drafted to Atlanta because I thought that there was a few other teams that were a lot more interested, but it was just the way it worked out, and I was happy to go to Atlanta, which ended up becoming Winnipeg. It was only Atlanta for 1 year really, so and then it became Winnipeg, so that was cool.
Yeah, that's cool that we can say that we've interviewed someone who was drafted by a team that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, yeah. I know it makes me feel old.
What would you consider your greatest strength that separates you from other defensemen?
Um, I would probably say just kind of athleticism. I think I'm pretty athletic for a bigger guy, being 6'4" and 215. I think like I'm good with contact and battles in the corner. And I think that my athleticism allows me to win battles, roll off guys, and finish guys for someone my size.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what emotions were you feeling when you got drafted by the Thrashers?
Oh, it was crazy. At first it was just obviously joy and um, just pure happiness, but it kind of settled down pretty quick because the wheels start turning in your mind. Oh, I got to go to camp now, and I got to get ready for camp. And you want to do your best then too. So it was a lot of emotions that come the same day. People always say that you must have just been so happy, but there was definitely some nerves there as well. You want to do well and make the NHL, obviously. So I mean, um, it was an interesting day. I would say it was both happiness and a little bit of nerves as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's you see that. In your opinion, what's the hardest? What has been the hardest jump for you in your career, like PB to Bantam, midget to junior?
Um, Probably the AHL to the NHL, and I say that because you just being so nervous the first time actually making it and playing your first game. I think your first couple games, like you're almost it's almost tough to think out there, especially as a D-man. There's so much going through your mind, and you're playing against so many good players. And but I think once you get comfortable in the NHL, it can even be easier to play than the AHL sometimes. I mean, that's not always, but I think it's just getting that initial confidence and being comfortable in the NHL was probably the biggest adjustment for me.
Yeah, definitely. And how did you react to the relocation of the Thrashers?
It was weird because it was pretty scary, to be honest, because you get drafted by a team, and the GM likes you, and all the scouts know who you are, and coaches and stuff, and then all of a sudden you kind of get put in a blender because everyone got fired, and new GM, new scouts, new coaches, so you're not really sure where you sit. I was lucky enough that I wasn't signed by Atlanta yet, so Winnipeg had my rights, but um, they ended up signing me, and it ended up working out. And I was in Winnipeg for 7 years total between the AHL and the NHL, and it ended up working out. But it was pretty scary at first because you're not sure if this new team is going to like you or not, or have room for you, and they obviously have their own plans as well. So it was pretty nerve wracking, but it ended up pretty good for me.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. What went through your head when you scored your first AHL goal?
It was pretty. It was great actually. It came like literally. I think it was like 2 or 3 games left in my first season. So, um, I'm not a huge goal scorer, and I'm not looking to score every night. But I was pretty happy to get out of the way because I was starting to play pretty good hockey and play more and more, and it was definitely good to get.
Yeah, that's nice. So how do you manage the mental aspect of being called up and being sent down?
It's tough. I mean, I think anyone who says any different is lying. It's especially when you something that is overlooked a lot is when you get sent back down and you have NHL experience and you've played well in the NHL. It's almost like the bar raises for you to do even better in the AHL. Um, and I think that can be tough for a lot of players because you kind of come back to the AHL and you try to do a little bit more than you're supposed to, or you think that you should dominate more than usual, or this and that. So I think kind of just managing that, and I kind of learned how to always play the same way wherever I was to do what I do best and bring what I bring, and just let everything else take care of itself.
Yeah, yeah.
If you could give any advice to a younger defenseman, what would you tell him?
I would say enjoy it. Like it's obviously it's a position, and I'm sure you guys would know like goaltending. It's a there's a lot of there's a big mental aspect to it. Like you're gonna make mistakes, you're gonna screw up, you're gonna get scored on. It's gonna be your fault, I guess you could say. But it's the defensemen that just continue to overlook that stuff, to continuing to work on your game and continuing to work hard and have fun with it. It's a tough position, and there's going to be errors, and I think that every game you're going to have errors, and just focus on the good in your game and where you want to get to and how you can help the team. And I think that's probably the biggest piece of advice.
Yeah, it's really important.
Yeah, especially like for goalies, like the mental aspect is probably the hardest because like
Yeah,
it's easy to make the saves, but if you let a goal in and like it's a soft one and you're not mentally prepared for it, you're gonna like not be well for a while until you
of
get
course.
over it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, as a goalie too, you can play the best game of your life, and your team doesn't score, and you can still lose, 3-0 with two backdoor tap ins, empty net, and what else could have you done? Like all you can do is just pick up the pieces and worry about next game. So I think same thing with a goalie. It's such a mental game.
Yeah.
You're going to make mistakes. You might not always come out on top, but it's just continuing to do it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Um, my next question is how do you gain the trust of your teammates and coaches whenever you're on like a new team, like from the NHL to the AHL or like back to the NHL?
Yeah. It's a good question. I just try to be myself. I mean, for personally, I don't try to overstep my boundaries, especially as an older player now, a veteran, and try to suggest something. I kind of just trust the coach has the best interest of everyone, and the players, or everyone wants to be there and work hard, and just come to work every day. I think that's all anyone can really ask of you, is to be a professional and take care of business at the arena, and that's it. And that's kind of what I've done when I've bounced around to new teams and such.
Yeah. I mean, for my team, I've stuck with them for like the past 7 years. Our club isn't the biggest. So, like we trust each other a lot. And I mean,
Yeah,
this year our head coach left because his daughter went to go play for an all girls team. So, but we're still having like our assistant coach is now our head coach.
sweet,
So, yeah.
cool, nice.
So far in your professional career, what would you call your biggest accomplishment?
Professional career. Um, uh, I mean, probably I would say probably playing in the NHL. Obviously, I want to give you more specific detail, I guess. Maybe playing in Madison Square Gardens, that was pretty special. You know what? It was probably playing in the Air Canada Center. Well, it's not the Air Canada Center anymore, but Scotiabank Arena or whatever it's called now. I never know. It's always changing. But
In Toronto?
in Toronto, yeah, playing in
Oh,
front of a bunch of friends and family in Winnipeg, and I think we lost in overtime, but it was pretty special to play there.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a Rangers fan, so when you said Madison Garden or
Oh,
Madison
nice,
Square Garden,
nice.
that was cool.
Yeah, that's great spot.
Yeah. And are you excited to play in the KHL next season? And also, why did you choose to go to the KHL?
Yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be quite the change and the opportunity. I think the reason I chose it was obviously with the uncertainty of the season next year, it's going to be pushed back a bit, and I want to continue to play. So it's going to be an interesting season, and just going to take it in as best I can.
Yeah.
Do you have a specific pregame meal you like to eat before games?
Yeah, you know what? I have a couple I rotate. Like I'll go like 10, 15 games with something and then switch it up. Not like I don't like count, but I usually when I start feeling sick of it, I'll change. Um, I'm a big sweet potato guy, like sweet potato and chicken and just a salad. And then I'll kind of go to pasta for 10, 15 games. And then I'll kind of go to a stir fry and I kind of with chicken and veggies and stuff like that. I'll kind of mix the three of those in until I get sick of them and then kind of move on. It's long season, so you can't be eating the same things always, you know?
Yeah. I mean, personally, I don't really have a pregame meal. Most of my games are like very early in the morning, so sometimes the only
Yeah,
thing I actually eat is like a banana.
yeah. Nice.
Yeah, I like to stock up on carbs and protein before games.
Yeah, nice. Great.
Yeah. My last question is, what is your favorite NHL team and who's your favorite player?
Um, I have to say the Leafs just because I'm from Toronto and I grew up being a Leafs fan. But I also say the Jets. I love. I was with the Jets for 7 years, and I always kind of felt like they were. I always kind of felt like that was my team, and I have a lot of friends on the team, and so I kind of cheer for them and do well. My favorite player um, is probably Mark Scheifele. He's a good friend of mine, and I like watching him play, and I always enjoy his success and seeing him do well.
Yeah. Sadly, the Jets just got knocked out yesterday.
Yeah, too bad. They had some injury problems and stuff, but we'll uh, we'll see how they bounce back. They got a good team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Strikes is a great player.
Yeah.
And my last question is: I've seen you work 44 and 71. Do you get to choose those numbers, or are they like assigned?
Um, Depends really. If somebody else has it before you go to a team, then it becomes a little bit more complicated. Usually you don't get it, but yeah, I usually stick. I've stuck with 44 now. 44 is probably my first choice. I like 44, and I used to watch Chris Pronger growing up. He was 44 most of his career, so that's kind of where it grew from. But yeah, I liked 44 is probably my favorite.
Nice. Yeah, I wear 30 because Henrik Lundqvist is my favorite player.
And
Nice.
I wear 40 for Tuukka Rask.
Oh wow, nice. Those are
Yeah.
some good goalies though. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Um, those are all the questions I have. Max, do you have any other questions?
I got on mine, yeah.
All right. Thank you